Welcome, everyone. My name is Kate Kiama, and I'm the Director of Programs at She's the Fast. Today, I'm so excited to introduce you to leaders from She's the Fast, partner our networks and our girl-led incubator program. At She's the Fast, we know that change starts at the local level, which is why we partner with local organizations to create lasting and meaningful change with and for girls. Through our partners like Blink Now and Arlington Academy of Hope, who will be joining us today, She's the Fast reaches 13,000 girls each year. We work with our partners to provide flexible funding, trainings, and tools so we can all improve in our work with girls. Through our girl-led incubator, we work with 6 youth-led organizations from Kenya, Tanzania, Sierra Leone, the Gambia, and India. Our training focuses on organizational development and feminist leadership for the fellows and their organizations. Working with local organizations, and especially women-led organizations, is critical because we know that less than 2% of global development aid reaches girls' organizations around the world, and girls deserve better. We know too that many youth programs inadvertently program for boys when they neglect to specifically consider girls' needs, which is why our coalition works tirelessly to ensure we all keep girls at the center of our work and all that we do. With that, I'm excited to introduce our panelists, Vandana, Aminata, Shweta, and Esther, all of whom are key members of this powerful network. It gives me great pleasure to introduce them all to you. Firstly, welcome 2 of our 6 inaugural Girl-led Incubator Fellows, Vandana and Aminata. Vandana Asha is based in India and is an applied theatre practitioner and founder of Ram Karwan. She is a trained journalist and enjoys working with adolescents through art. Aminata Conte is a social worker by training and the founder of Glowing Enablers Network, which supports the social and economic empowerment of girls in Sierra Leone. Secondly, welcome Shweta and Esther, representatives from our partner organization. Shweta Bandari works in dual roles as a program coordinator and teacher at the Kopila Valley School of Blink Now Foundation in Nepal. She coordinates and implements the girls' empowerment programs and teaches English to lower secondary classes. Last but certainly not least, Esther Timbe works as a girls programming coordinator at our partner Arlington Academy of Hope in Uganda. She is an experienced and decorated mentor, teacher, and businesswoman. Welcome all and thank you for joining us. Great. I'll dive right in and we'll pose a first question to Esther and Shweta. We know that the pandemic has been a difficult period, particularly for girls. But even in this trying time, we have seen and heard stories of resilience, strength, and determination. Can you share with us a particular story that demonstrates girls' resilience from your organization? Shweta?
Yeah, hi. Recently there had been one very incident of one of our girls, student in our school. She happened to lost her father, and because of the COVID, actually. Even though we had many precautions and many things going on, but unfortunately, she happened to lose her father, and she belongs to lower economic background, so we had to, we had to counsel her. We provided some medical facilities, counseling facilities, and on top of that, we had a one-on-one interview with her, a kind of counseling to her to bring back her on the um, to bring her back on her academic status, because she was giving her uh, grade 8 exams, which is very important, grade 8 and 10 exam. And she was not able to give, actually she was not able to give her exam, 2 of her exams. But then after our counseling and after our home visits, our health and wellness team also went for her counseling things, and for the family and one-on-one interview also. So after that, she eventually it had taken us a lot of time for that, because she was not willing to come to school and then not willing to give exam. It was past month. It was just 1 month back this incident happened, and it was really important for us to give that exam for her, because if once she misses this exam, then she won't be able to complete her grade 8. So it was really difficult for us to bring her back to school. She started to realize that even though not, like life events as such happens, we need to come back. And then like she actually had shown a kind of compassion for the studies, and realized that yes, even though such incident happens, we need to get back to our life. And then she eventually gave all the exams, and she is also promoted to class 9 now.
Thank you, Shweta, for sharing that, and we're delighted to hear that she's able to proceed with her studies. Esther? Sorry, Esther, I think you're still on mute.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity once again. This pandemic has been very difficult as girls faced untold challenges. Mm, they were not prepared for. No access to TVs or radios or to get national instructions, unplanned pregnancies, hunger, general poverty, and even more things. Lots of them come from homes that are very poor, and but they did not stop from trying to look out for each other and to look for where they can be helped. There is this particular girl in P7, she's called Elizabeth. Their family had anything. They have no good source of income. Her mom is a single mom. Their father abandoned the family and went to Kenya. She can't even afford to buy basics like sanitary pads for herself. And her mom does the domestic, she washes for people clothes, they pay her some little money just for her to receive money and buy food for the children. She has no support, but despite all these challenges at home, this girl worked so hard to ensure that she passed her exams well. She managed to get 13 aggregates. She did, and right now she's going to join her secondary school with the support from She's the First. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther and Shweta, for sharing insights on resilient stories from girls in the organizations that you work with and for. My next question is going to be directed to our girl-led incubator fellows, Vandana and Aminata. So maybe Vandana can share with us first. What, in your view, are the most important skills girls program leaders like yourself need?
Yeah. So when I started working here, I was just an applied theater practitioner, really trying to understand the pedagogy and the art and the practice, and how can we use it as a tool to work with people. But as people started joining us, joining the organization, I realized there's much more to this. You really need to understand the community you're working with. There's something called audience analysis. You need to understand the need. What is the need? You can't just bring a pedagogy and start working with them. You need to understand what you're going to work on. So there were little very important and very urgent nuances that I could not realize that there were in the work. And slowly, as people started joining and we became an organization, I realized there are so many things that I need to learn to design and structure this organization, to have systems in place so that we can work efficiently and towards the right goal. So this was the very important thing that I realized, and that is why I was really looking forward to be a part of girl led incubator, because I realized the importance of being in a feminine environment and having feminist organizations supporting you, the feminist leadership that you were talking about earlier in the introduction. That's what I was really looking forward to learn the nuances of running an organization and also being in a very empowering environment myself, so that I can transfer uh, this same energy to the community I am working with. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bandana. We're really excited that you're part of the fellowship program for 3 years. Aminata, I'll pose the same question to you. What do you think girl leaders such as yourself need, especially for their organizations to thrive?
Thank you very much, Kate. You know, when Vandana started with her whole talk, I just saw myself smiling because I felt almost the same. So when I founded Global Members Network in May 2017, I founded it based on a personal experience from mental illness I went through. So when I've part of what we were focused on is more on mental health awareness, and I felt like passion was going to be enough to keep us going because I felt like it came from my truth, it came from my experience, and just because I feel like I would help other girls, I feel like that was enough. But then I started having members, we were running out projects, programs. Then I realized I needed more than just passion to not only be effective but also be excellent in what we do. So I came back and then I told myself I first have to start learning. Like I went online, took online courses, I applied for international fellowships. I even realized that I also needed mentors like other women who have been working in the girls empowerment spaces. I realized that I needed to go to them, ask questions because I needed more than just passion. And then along the line, I realized that public speaking skills is really super important. And then communication skills also, because working with girls, especially trying to talk to them on mental health awareness, you have to be conscious and sensitive in how you transfer some of these informations with them. And even on some days when you're going out to communities to give out donations and charities, you don't just go and give them because you feel like they're poor or because they are disadvantaged. You give them and let them realize that you're helping them and empowering them to get them to be enablers to feed themselves or to support themselves. So all of those skills, I realized that I really needed to learn them, not just myself, but other members of my team. And then an opportunity with she after the first couple engagements with other fellows, the orientation and the first training, I realized that I also have a lot of administrative and program structure gaps in how we've been rolling out our projects. And then I really look forward to learning. I look forward to the 3 years networking with other fellows and a lifetime of us winning and doing in our different communities, and even not together, but also not apart. So thank you again, Kate.
Yes, I definitely echo that, walking and learning together. And I'll encourage all of our listeners and viewers, please do check the amazing profiles and the organizations of our Girl-led Incubator Fellows on our website. I'd like to now move to Esther and Shweta once again, especially as regards to training. When training is not often talked about in girls' rights spaces, and many people are really excited to support directly to girls. And this often looks like buying hygiene products, uniforms, or other education materials. But we know that that is half of what girls need to truly exceed their potential. So, my question to both of you is, why do you think training for staff and mentors is so important for the success of the organization, but also to have better outcomes for girls? And maybe this time I'll ask Esther to go first, and then Shweta, you can jump in.
Okay, thank you once again. First of all, training is important for staff and mentors because it really helps us to pass on a consistent message for everyone who is involved, and it helps us to stay current and fresh to the direction we want to go to as an organization. For us as Arlington Academy of Hope, we are thrilled to work in partnership with She's the First to utilize a lot of their programming materials to support our girls in both the sexual reproductive health and mentorship. Like in Feb of last year, AH was lucky to host a training for sexual and reproductive health, and For our organization, which was contacted by a team from She's the First, she came, she trained the teachers to help them deliver a message. These trainings included all our teachers and a group of our student leaders, who we call right now peer educators, who now go in the field to talk to the rest of the children. This training, AH Incorporated, it is now all in our curriculum. It's put on the timetable right from P1. It runs, we teach our children to ensure all our students from P1 to P7 receive instructions on the sexual reproductive health and rights. And we utilize the peer educators to ensure that they pass on this information. Through the home visits, we draft a topic and then they go and teach the other children in the community. Since we are under lockdown right now, we are not able to meet as a big group. Again, the trainings help our workers to have an open mindset. Like you can be able to listen in, like you share, you learn with each other, and it also creates room for learning, and it also sustains in the culture. For example, in Africa, it's not just, you can't just come up and mention the word sex anyhowly. People don't want to even talk about it. But with the help of the sexual reproductive health and training, right now our teachers can speak freely. They can be able to teach the children without fear. So ideally, trainings are good. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther. You remind me of a saying or an adage that when we stop learning, we start dying. And I really think it's really enlightening and exciting to hear that some of those trainings are also cascading down to other teachers and other forms or classes as well. So we're really excited to hear that. I like what you say, that training helps keep our knowledge fresh. So thank you for sharing. Shweta?
About the training, of course, like it is very much important to train staffs and even students to, because it prepares you for any kind of events, or to broaden the knowledge and skills that you have. So last time we had mentorship training with our students from She's the First, and we have tried to link that training in our DLMs. Since the lockdown, we have turned our courses into distance learning materials. It's been almost 2 years now. And the main reason for this mentorship program is to cascade the learnings from one person to the other, because like when you try to learn new things and use new technologies, it does not match, because it is two different things. You try to use the internet, and then you try to again learn new things, because for our students, they don't come from having a very good access of internet or a good proper use of internet. So what we thought of was preparing those linking those mentorship programs, into our DLMs, and making it into some kind of place-based activity or an extra activity where they get to get to meet their neighbors, or let's say their guardians also, and then they can also teach their guardians, and also maybe they can teach their friends in a group. If one has learned in that group, they have actually done that. They have actually tried to implement those mentorship programs into a group of people having not more than 5, because more than 5 would be not an ideal number in a group. So not more than having 5, and then I had given some place-based activities that would come, have 5 people in it, and try to educate those, have a peer education and sharing of knowledge. So that training was really fruitful, and we have, for now, I've only tried in class 6, 7, and 8, and then now trying to further go into further classes, because I think that has been a very brilliant methodology of sharing your knowledge and stuff. And the main reason for it was to cascade, because once when one is a person is has that kind of skills and knowledge, the person can cascade the same to their friends through peer education. So that was one of the most effective learning for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta. I think you raise a very critical point, especially when you think about COVID and lockdowns and how to make sure that the girls that we work with and for have information and access. And sometimes it could through be peer to peer through maybe in your program, the Big Sister and Big Brother program, just making sure that the information is cascading in ways that they can be able to absorb and capture it, especially recognizing the challenges that COVID has, as you correctly mentioned, things like access is quite inhibiting. One of the other things I think as an organization, we're always learning also from our partners and our fellows. I think learning is two ways. Just because we facilitate most of this conversation, we also learn best practices of what's working in Uganda might not always work in India and vice versa. So just making sure that we are also learning contextually what practices or what methodology works. So just to say we're really excited and for your learnings and for your sharings and your just transparency in this whole process as well. I know we're running out of time, but I have a couple of more questions for all of us. And this one I'll ask each of us to kindly respond to. And it's especially as regards when we think about the work that we're doing in social change, it definitely requires a multifaceted approach to be able to really have meaningful engagement for girls. So I'm curious to find out what each of our views is that especially we need to do more urgently to ensure that girls are not left behind, particularly in a post-pandemic world. And I'll probably ask our GLI fellows to go first, and then we can start with our partners. So maybe I'll ask Aminata to go first because the last round Vandana went. So what would you think needs to be done more urgently to make sure that girls are not left behind?
Thank you, Kate. In an article I read by Susan Jones, she was quoting an associate professor, Sarah Goodkind, who said girls' empowerment is more about social change rather than self-esteem. And in this whole post-pandemic COVID world that we're envisioning, I really do feel like girls and women should be included in regards to socioeconomic repair and resilience. And personally, I feel like one of the social change policies that should be implemented, especially in my country, Sierra Leone, where I work, is an education project wherein we get more girls to become interested again in school, because during this COVID most of them have become dropouts because of obvious reasons. They stay at home. There's been an increase in abuse, an increase in violence, an increase in teenage pregnancy, and those were things we were working against just so we can get girls back into school. But then the whole COVID has taken us steps behind, not just us in Glowing Embers Network, but a chain of other girl-led institutions we work together with. So back home, we feel like we need a rapid and immediate response or project that would seek to address and encourage girls to also try to come back into the school social space, because most of them, because of dropping out and because of loss of parents or guardians and all the other socioeconomic challenges that COVID brought, it's going to be an Herculean task to get them back into school, because we have to go back into fixing all these issues that have taken them away from school or the educational atmosphere, educational ecosystem.
Thank you, Aminata. Vandana?
Yeah, I think this is urgent and this is being worked upon, but I would like to push it a bit more to create more spaces for girls where they speak their minds, if they can say whatever they want to say, and they just have a voice, and they have this exposure to the opportunities they can grab upon, the exposure to the support they need. So just having the spaces where they can be treated as equals and humans, and they can just practice their rights, just creating more spaces for them. I know that there are being endeavors in this area, but we need to push a bit more. Speaking contextually also, where I am based right now, this is what I see. Yeah.
Thank you, Vandana. Shweta?
Um, both boys and girls, they, regardless of any gender, everybody is talented. I mean, like in some sense, they are talented, but then not everybody gets an opportunity. So I think it's really important for us to create that opportunity or that platform for, of course, for girls and for boys as well, because I think when they come together, when we have an equal status of, like, gender roles and stuff. So I think it's very much important for us to like create that kind of platform and then have both of them, girls and boys, because that will create an equal status in this society. If that is not possible, if it's not like possible to have both of them, because I think it's really important from, like, yeah, because our country is also backward still, I'd say. It still lacks so many rights, especially for girls in the western, in this region we have more lacking, like we have lesser rights, and some of them they even don't know what rights they have. So I think it's really important for us to create that platform for the educating of the rights and then how to exercise it, and to make them realize that they have the power to make them happen and make it exercise in their favor. So yeah.
Thank you, Shweta. Esther?
Okay. To me, I feel they should embrace technology. One, once you embrace technology, you're able to meet mentors online to talk to you. For example, right now, all the children are at home and lessons are carried out online, of which most of our children are at home. Some don't even have radios, they don't have phones. So ideally, it's hard. So first of all, if we embrace technology, all our children get to know at least basic computer. At least they're able to access some fear. Maybe you need to talk to, you've heard of this mentor or you've heard of this counselor, and the only way is to go on maybe net, or you have to meet that person on Zoom. For example, right now, if it wasn't for this, we would not meet each other. So you can see what the power of technology. Me, I think this can actually help them out. Yeah.
Thank you all for sharing your wisdom and gems. I just want to quickly recap some of the interventions that we've shared. One was just really leverage technology and make sure that especially girls have access to these devices, just to make sure, especially regression of girls in their studies is not something that we are. We'll make sure we're contributing to make sure that they're not falling back behind with their studies. The other point was make sure that we are educating girls about their rights and making sure that they are made aware of their rights and how to be able to exercise them. The other point was just making sure that we have platforms and opportunities for girls to really be able to self advocate and to be able to create self awareness. I think the thing that came to mind when Shweta was sharing is uh, talent is universal, but opportunity is not. So, how do we make sure that then we give opportunity to different people and make sure that it's accessible to all? The other point that was shared, I think, by Vandana was make sure that we have more safe spaces for girls, even if we know they're there, be truly inclusive to make sure that girls feel that they always have a space that they can be able to go and they can be able to get insights, feedback, information, especially to things that they might not be getting either in school or in their home front. And then lastly, Aminata shared with us that it's really important for us to have a rapid response to make sure that girls get back to school. I think also in regards to the recovery process, make sure that girls are in the table, are given a seat at the table as well. I hope that gave justice to everything that we've shared. But before I let you all go, I just wanted us to quickly do a rapid quick fire. And in this segment, I'll kindly ask that we answer in one sentence or less the following questions. So, are we ready? Okay. So I'll just do popcorn style. There are four questions, so each of us will go fast in one round. So the first round, I will ask Esther to go fast. So Esther, in one word or less, what is the most powerful thing about girls?
The girls are wise, they're strong, and they're powerful.
Wise, strong, powerful. Excellent. Vandana?
I was going to say the same. The strength, the amount of strength they carry in their sweet little bodies.
Thank you. Thank you. Aminata and then Shweta.
One of the most powerful things about girls is their voice.
Excellent. Shweta.
The most powerful thing about them, I find, is compassion. They still have the compassion to change, like, in their favor.
Excellent. Their compassion. Shweta, now that I have you, maybe I'll ask you to go next in this second round of questions. What superpower would you like girls to have?
The power to exercise their rights and to know the value of their rights.
Aminata?
One superpower I would like girls to have is the realization that they are enough.
Wow. Vandana, then Esther.
Mine was a bit quirky so that they can snap and just come out of difficult situations like that.
Nice. I like that. Snap of a finger, problem solved. Esther?
They should be able to live in the world which is equal with men and women, such that they can be able to overcome any obstacles.
Nice. Equality for all. Next round, I will ask Aminata to go first. I'll go Aminata, Vandana, Esther, and Shweta. So, Aminata, my question to you is what's on your current reading list, or what book would you recommend us all to read?
Okay, I'm reading The Glided Ones by Namina Fona, a Sierra Leonean author. And I would want you all to read it. I'm not yet done, but I find it quite interesting.
Nice. Thank you, Aminata. Vandana,
We have read it multiple times, but Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire.
right? Esther?
Currently, I'm reading Wangari's Trees of Peace. The author is not is it Wangari? Is it Wangari something? Wangari
Wangari
Thai.
Maathai. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Esther. Shweta?
I'm almost about to finish the book by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, 100 Years of Solitude, and it's a really difficult novel, actually. So, yeah, it's a really interesting one.
Nice. Thank you all for sharing. And last, I believe it's Vandana who hasn't gone fast. So you have the pleasure of starting us off, and we'll go Vandana, Aminata, Shweta, and Esther. So my last question is, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Don't feel inferior. You really are awesome. You can do it.
Aminata?
This is a very personal and deep question. But if I get to talk with my 16-year-old self, I'll tell her that the world is full of roses, but then there are thorns. But as much as there are thorns, there are still beautiful colors and the petals. So stay and look at the colors and just tiptoe right through the thorns. Thank you, Kate.
Shweta?
It's a kind of very emotional question to me, actually, because growing up, we didn't have that kind of guidance and that kind of like stuff like that. So I think I really want to say myself, 16-year-old self, is that you are just enough, and then you don't need to seek any validation from others. Yeah, thank you.
And last but not least, Esther.
Okay. If I would find a 16-year-old self like myself, like you just say you have what it takes to succeed. So
You have what it takes to succeed. You are just enough. You're not inferior. Take time to look at the colors, and you are not inferior. I think it's really important for us, even as we walk through this journey of life, to always reaffirm ourselves and tell ourselves those words, especially with, with hindsight, it's 2020, your vision is 2020. So it's really important for us to really make sure that we are speaking words of life and wisdom to the people that we work with, and it will also be kind to ourselves as well. So thank you all very much for just your time, and we continuously thank you for the amazing work that you continuously do with and for the girls that you work with in your community. We continue to applaud you and thank you most sincerely for the amazing work that you continuously do. And we look forward to having more conversations on how we can be able to truly put girls at the center of what we do. So thank you for your time. And with that, we'll bid adieu to our panelists. Bye. So thank you all for joining this conversation and taking time to learn more about the ways that ShizaFast is strengthening the ecosystem for girls. Would love to hear your thoughts, so head over to ShizaFast Summit Slack and let us know what resonated with you, what ticked. That's all for tonight, but check your email tomorrow morning to get started on Chapter 2, Challenge 2. We'll see you back here tomorrow for an exciting training led by STF American University to learn more about how they set up their chapter body program. Thank you all and goodbye.